Happy New Year to all the people, to all the haters, and to all the trolls. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with this new year with Moon in Aquarius sign. And what happens when Moon comes into the sign of Aquarius during your birth? Well, Moon, which is the most important planet in your horoscope, because Moon is the mind, is the way you think, is the way you project yourself mentally to other people, is the way you observe other things in, which is through your mind. And mind is controlled by the Moon. Well, when Moon comes into Aquarius, the key word here is unconventional. Why? Because the sign of Aquarius is not only ruled by Saturn, but Rahu is also the controller of the sign of Aquarius. Okay. And this is why, and Rahu is the taboo breaker, the unconventional, the weirdo. Okay. So here, the mind in Aquarius becomes a mind of somebody who wants to gather the crowd and wants to bring about a message of the future. These people, their mind comes into play when they're organizing things and they're organizing big events, whether they are, party planners to political or like a political organization of a party. They have the ability to bring the crowd together and link one person to another, and they themselves want to network because that's what really brings them the mental stability, is to connect sources to one another. And Moon and Aquarius people, the reason why they are unconventional and they think in a very weird sense is because they think that their mental projection of the world, that they live in, is far beyond the time period that everybody else is living in. Like, if they think that, if the rest of the people are saying that, okay, I want to get married, I want to, have a big wedding, I want to have kids, I want to have this and that, they're like, no, I would rather live with somebody and maybe not have a marriage and just live together. Or I don't want to do that hoopla of marriage and the big day and blah, blah, blah. I just want to go to court, sign papers, and just get this thing over with. Because they think that in the future, the institution of marriage should be more simpler and would be more simpler. They have a scientific way of defining things. This is why Moon in Scorpio and Pisces and Cancer becomes more esoteric and spiritual. However, with Moon and Aquarius, their sense of spirituality comes in when they're able to prove to themselves and others that this is how things are working. So a very analytical and scientific mind comes into play. These are the people who will be like, oh, really? So debilitated sun will cause me self-esteem problems, having lack of ego, and problems with my father. Okay, but how is it working? How does it work? Tell me. Is it the gravitational force of the planet? Is it some, electromagnetic field that is happening around us that during our birth, a planet is giving a lack of its electromagnetic pulses, or the aura is, according to the planet, the aura is lacking that controls the relationship with the father? They want that explanation. And until they have that explanation, they are not really willing to believe that. Unless, of course, you prove it to them that this is how your life was, then they believe in that. So let's say these people, Moon and Aquarius, go to an astrologer, and astrologer starts babbling about the future. But they're not interested in that. They're like, no, why don't you tell me about my past first, so I know what you're talking about is real, is working, before we can move along with the future. That's how this Moon begins to think all the time. So see, this is why when people come across an Aquarius Moon, they think of them as just complete eccentric people. They're like, who are you? What are you? And the reason for that is that this is that one sign that is controlled by two planets instead of one. The energy of Rahu, the unconventional and the taboo breaking, unlawful energy of planet versus energy of Saturn, following the law, obedient, orderly, structured, disciplined. And these two energies keep going up and down, up and down, up and down. So a lot of times it's very hard to define these people. But the way to define these people is that the only way their mental balance comes into play is when they create their own path. They want to be, first of all, universally connected with everybody, and they want to create their own path. They're like, this is how I want to do it. Whether you think it's weird, whether you think it's out of the context of society, I think this is how I feel and this is how I want to do it. You know, they here's the thing about Moon in Aquarius. They want to break the taboos of the society, but at the same time, they do not want to go so far that they will break the laws of the society. And so this is why they do want to get married, but they do not want to get married in that traditional sense that the society tells them to be. You know, they will just go to court marriage and do the marriage, or they will just have this handshake with their loved one to say, okay, today we're married. That's it. And this is where the unconventional, this eccentricness comes into play, and the mind, you know, is very scientific because of Rahu. Because Aquarius side of Saturn becomes very liberal. It becomes very like, networking and being in that party and being in that, crowded places and just, going in and networking and connecting one to another. But Rahu is a scientific planet, along with taboo breaking. This is why Jupiter and Rahu conjunction creates good scientists. And here too, when Moon comes into Aquarius, makes a person a scientist. They're very detail oriented, they're very disciplined. So when they're focusing on creating some sort of a binary DNA extrapolation, they're focused on it. But their mind is about searching for the truth and defining to others, this is how things work. Like for them, they can't just explain to you, oh yes, you have an aura, and if you do Kundalini, you go to God and you go to fourth dimension. No, they're like, here, let me show you scientifically. This is how it works. See the brain, and when this person is doing meditation, this part of the brain is lighting up and the other is shutting down. This shows hallucination. This shows experiencing something out of normal, and this is how Kundalini can be explained. This is how they go into place. And their mental instability comes in when they have to be disciplined to follow the order, that when they have to follow the orders and laws and regulations of the society. Like, you do this now, you do this now, you're going to have this big wedding, you're going to go to school at this time, you're going to go to school at... No, they want to finish school at their own time. They want to study whatever they want. They'll become... they say, screw this, I'm going to become a major of philosophy and I'll become a physicist. They do it. So this is why people have a hard time with these moons. Like, dude, what are you? What is my wife? I can't figure out my wife. I can't figure out my husband. Well, that's what it is. They sometimes... the energy of Rahu comes in place. Sometimes Saturn energy comes into place. But if Rahu is in with Moon, or if Saturn's with Moon, or if Rahu or Saturn, or if only Rahu is aspecting or Saturn is aspecting, then you know that Moon becomes more of with the Saturnian energy than Rahu. But if Rahu and Saturn are both aspecting the Moon, then again it creates a turbulence in the mind. These guys don't know, what do I do? In their own mind, they become quite turbulent. Like, what do I do? Who am I? And they go crazy. Because these are two malefic planets looking at the Moon or sitting with the Moon. It can also create suicidal tendencies with these guys, especially in certain nakshatra and certain sign. But, this is just very unconventional. But 7th from Moon is the sign of Leo. And they look for somebody who's dynamic, who is able to get the center of attention for them. Why? Because through them, they know they will be able to build more network circle. They will be able to organize better with the help of somebody who is of a Leo Sun Lion type, who's able to gather the crowd and divert the attention to them. Because when they divert the attention to them, guess who's next to them as their spouse? The Aquarius person, the Aquarius Moon. And then when everybody comes in, the Aquarius Moon takes over, and they're the one who is always organizing things. So this is how this moons work, okay? So guys, was my analysis of Moon and Aquarius. If you're new to my channel, subscribe above, below, wherever you see the subscribe button. And if you want to know where your moon is placed, check out the link below. Check out my book, The Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you the link to look at your own chart so you can see where your eccentric and where your, downfall comes into play in your mind. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Happy 2013. Bye-bye. Hey, what's up, all you Chaos lovers? So make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And please share my channel with all your family and friends who are in love with astrology. Because I'm the man when it comes to astrology, okay? So make sure you do that. And I will see you tomorrow with another cool new video, okay? Sorry, I love my coffee spiked. Woo!